Hello everybody, it's Jen. We're going to jump right into the second part of the 10 cards, 1 paper pad with Doodlebug Down on the Farm and the Hay There stamp set by Lawn Fawn. So for the panel of my card, I'm using this adorable farm scene piece of paper. And I cut out an oval with this stitched oval die from MFT and this stitched line from MFT as well to create this little half oval panel where my little critters are going to kind of sit in front of. I've also cut out this banner die, so it has 2 fishtails, 1 on either end. This is an MFT die as well from one of their blueprints packages, and I'm stamping out happy birthday from the whole herd, and I'm going to heat emboss that with clear embossing powder. So I'm using my VersaFine Black Onyx ink. I'm going to just pop that up with some fun foam. I'm going to lay the oval straight onto the card base and then pop up that little die, so not die, the little banner, so the critters can kind of be peeking out from behind it. So I'm using a number of the little farm critters for this card, and I thought I was going to pop up that horse, but it only needed to be popped up on the one side. So I'll pop up some of the animals and then lay some of them flat. And you'll see here how I'm going to arrange them. I start putting them down, and then I didn't like them sitting on the banner, so I decided to have a little bit of blue space there, which in the end, I'm not sure if I like it better with them sitting on the banner or the way I place them, but still looks cute either way. So to finish that off, I'm going to put a little flower in the sheep's hair, and I'm going to put a bow in the cow's, well, just above its ear. And then I do end up putting a little chick on top of the pig as well. So moving on to card number 2, I'm using this, it's kind of like a window planter from the window die that Lawn Fawn put out, I think it was last year, to cut out what's going to be like a pig trough. So this is a very clean and simple card, except for the fact that I'm dirtying up the card panel here with some walnut distress oxide ink. I wanted to make it look muddy as a background, but not too dark, so it's a very faint kind of distressing. And then I'm going to lay this, what's going to be the pig trough, down to the center of the card, and I'm going to have one pig in the trough. I'm going to get out the So Smooth stamp set, and I used the fruit from that to be filling the pig trough. And I know that the fruit are not in size comparison to the pig, but it was kind of like the only thing I had to do this with, and I wanted to make it work, so I did. But the pig definitely looks like a miniature pig compared to the fruit. So I thought it would be cute to put this banana peel on top of the pig that's in the trough. And then I put a little pig to the left, and I had only been planning to use 2 pigs because I was going to use a smile die, and it was going to come up to the right hand side of the card. I decided not to use that die, so then I felt like it was off-centered. So I did put a 3rd pig to the right of the card. Now I'm just using my Copic markers here to kind of add some shading. And I think if I were to do this again, I probably would have done it in a light brown to make it look like the mud. But it's fine the way it is. So I'm going to use a sentiment from the Happy stamp set, and so it just says, "You make me happy," and I thought that that would be a cute sentiment given the pigs are kind of being silly and messy and just cute and adorable, and I just thought, you know, they look like they're happy, so this was a good sentiment for the card. So just going to place a couple more pieces of fruit, and then that one's done, and we're going to move on to, well, card number 3, but really it's card number 8. So for this one, I'm going back to the chickens. I think they were my favorite in this stamp set. So I'm using this kind of rounded shaped die here to make my panel for the card. So for the top of the card, I'm using the chicken paper. And for the bottom panel of the card, I'm using that red and white checkered paper. I love the 2 of these papers together. So I'm going to do a little something different for me, and I'm going to actually have the images to the bottom on the red and white checkered piece of paper. So I'm going to put this one little chicken behind the fence, like it is stuck in the little chicken coop. And then I'm going to put some other chickens and eggs around it to create this little scene to the bottom of the card. So I've got another chicken, I've got a baby chick, and I was trying to put it so that they were holding hands. I'm going to place another chicken beside the baby chick, or rooster, whatever you want to call them. Another chick, and then a brown egg. The brown eggs are my favorite. So then I just cut out another oval using the stitched oval die, and I'm making my own phrase here with the Riley ABCs by Lawn Fawn. So I stamped just in with my VersaFine ink, and then I'm using Real Red by Stampin' Up to stamp the word chicken. So it says just chicken in, which I think is a really cute, everyday kind of, and then I dropped it. I was so mad at myself. Luckily it didn't make too much of a mess, but yeah, so I think this is just a cute everyday card, but I thought that the sentiment wasn't sticking out enough, so I'm using my Wow embossing pen here to go over the sentiment, and then I'm going to use my clear embossing powder, and you're going to see it pop to life here, and I think that that just finished off the card really nicely, and just got a little bit of warping there, so I was making sure to try to get that out with my heat gun. So for my 9th card, I'm going to be using this landscaped scenic die from Lawn Fawn, and I'm going to be doing some distress inking for the background. So I'm using Broken China and Salty Oceans for the sky, and you saw there I just put down a little bit of adhesive on the back so it would stick to this sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock that I've laminated, so it doesn't move too much as I'm using the distress oxides here. And this one I'm using Bristol Smooth, so you can see how it is blending nicely on this card once I get it blended. And so then I'm going to come in with the Lucky Clover and the Twisted Citron for the grass, and I'm just using the upside down piece of the insert to make sure that I don't get it on the blue part. So now I'm going to come in with the Twisted Citron, and I'm going to go over the bottom. So I actually don't use any of the pattern paper on this card, so I don't know if that's a cheat. It might be. But I am using the stamp set, so hopefully that still counts. So I've got that all blended. It looks great. I'm going to adhere this down to my card base and put the card together. This little scene I think is so cute. It's pretty simple to do as well, which is nice. So I'm just going to inset that inner piece there, and I've got the little goat. This is the first time I'm using the goat on one of my cards. So cute with his little furry goat beard. Just die cut a cloud here. I just felt like there needed to be something up in the top of that portion of the card, and you could actually put your sentiment in the cloud. That would have looked really cute as well. I didn't think of that when I was making the card, but that definitely would have been a good place because it is quite a bit of just stark white. But just kind of putting these guys in place, I did pop up some of the images, and others I just adhered right to the card base. So this little chick on the head I popped up, and then I realized I wanted the little rooster or the chicken to be popped up with it. The sheep is popped up here, and I just needed some glue. I'm not sure why. Maybe I ended up not. Oh, I ended up taking the foam adhesive off the sheep. So now I'm going to stamp the sentiment. So I'm using Hay There, which is just a good, again, everyday kind of card. And I popped up that cow to the front. And then I'm going to use the little speech bubble that came in the stamp set, and I stamp I love you. And I'm going to color that heart in with a little bit of red from my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. So I colored all my images using my Zigs. Thought about putting a bow on the goat, but then realized the goat was probably a male, so I put it on the cow. And there is that card finished. So for card number 10, this is another clean and simple card. I wanted to use the new frame dies that Lawn Fawn just released. So I thought it would be fun to use the wood grain paper from the paper pad to make one of the frames. And then to tie in the fact that I'm using a cow image, I just used one of the pieces of paper that I had left over with the cow print. That bottom corner was bothering me because there was a white piece. So I just took my marker and made that black. I'm using some of the green paper. It's like a checkered paper, not checkered, like a plaid. Not really sure what kind of, I guess you'd say plaid. And I stamped happy birthday to Moo. And then I thought it needed a little something. So I took out my, what color is this? My Faded Jean Distress Oxide ink. And I'm just going to put a little bit on the back of the card just to give some color. And I'm just doing this on 110-pound Recollections cardstock. So you can see it doesn't blend as well as when I used the Bristol Smooth, but it's fine. And I really think Bristol Smooth is too expensive to be using, in my opinion, for my card bases. So I just go with the flow. It turns out just fine. But what I didn't take into account was that the cow was actually going to cover the little pond in the scene. So it takes away the blue from the picture frame, and now there's no other blue in the card. So I may have to go back and try to put something else blue on the card to make it kind of tie in, but I thought that this could make a really good masculine card. So let me know what you think, if you think this could be a masculine card or if it's too cutesy to be masculine. But I'm just going to pop up that banner, and originally I thought I was going to put it on the paper in the middle, and then I end up settling on here, which I really liked. So those are all the cards. I hope you guys enjoyed. I say this every time, but I really love doing 10 card videos. It's a lot of fun. It makes me feel like I get a lot of use out of the products that I buy. You all seem to really like them, so it's a win-win for everyone. Anyways, thank you all for joining me again today. Thank you so much for all your lovely comments. Thank you for taking time to like my videos and for subscribing. Please, if you're not subscribed, I would appreciate it if you would consider subscribing. It just helps to make sure that my videos get suggested in playlists and on the home pages and stuff. So I'd really appreciate that. Have a great day, everyone, and I will see you soon in another video. Bye!